I want to continue on here talking about map layouts. The map layout often depends on what your story is. A game that moves from start to end may want to have a kind of linear map that leads you on like that. These kind of games where they have a defined start and a well-defined end with not many options or decisions. But then again, we sometimes try for these open-ended games that the narrative does not dictate the map. So a number of different design structures. There's open linear, linear with sidetracks, linear with circuits, branching, spoke, and hub. And of course, no game is just one of these. We might have levels that are open and levels that are linear. And of course, the spoke and hub is a way of defining these layouts. So an open map layout has multiple starting points, perhaps multiple ending points, and numerous unordered challenges that are scattered in between. And there are many different ways of traveling from one location to another. The players have a lot of choices. The world may seem infinite, but in fact, it is a series of mini maps that are linked together in some way to give the illusion of an infinite world. Linear maps are common with games that are based on a story. They have a start and an end, and the character is usually the hero, and they have to work their way through challenges. The start is always the same, the end is always the same, and there's only one path. Along that path, there are challenges, puzzles, barriers, and other obstacles to the player's success. Linear with sidetracks are one that has a branch that goes off the main linear trail, and that sidetrack is often a dead end, but often down this dead end is some bonus feature or clue that helps them in their progression down the main path. A danger with sidetracks is that if the player happens to skip the sidetrack and there's some critical asset that they need to progress along the main path, they may not be able to succeed. And so sometimes we force them to enter the sidetrack by closing off the main path to them. They have to go down the sidetrack, find the critical asset, and then backtrack because they've reached some dead end. Circuits are sidetracks that are not dead ends, but instead rejoin the main path either before or after they branch. Think of loops and if structures. If structures skip over code, loops go back and repeat code. So circuits are kind of like loops and if structures. They offer opportunities to bypass parts of the main path, but they can also disorient the player by sending them back along the main path so that they perceive themselves as going in circles. Racing games, of course, are examples of linear circuits where the track goes around and around and around and in a circle. Branching maps have one starting position, but they have many different endings. They have many different places that you can succeed in the game and finish it. From a narrative point of view, there have to be then multiple outcomes. If you play as the bad guy, you end up one place. If you play as White Hat, you end up someplace else. It depends on the player's choices. These are harder to write. They require a lot more artwork, paths that may never be traversed. Branches in this kind of game are often one-way portals that only let you proceed down one path. They are rewarding in that a player is encouraged to replay the game and achieve a different outcome, so you may get more plays with a game of this sort. Spoke and hub maps are characterized by a progressive set of challenges that need to be performed in order to unlock further challenges. So you have to do task. You have to do challenge 1 in order to unlock access to challenge 2, and so forth. And the player, after completing his challenge, returns to some central home base where you can then sign up for different challenges. This is very common in AAA games. This, of course, requires lots of maps, each of which can be of many types, open, linear, whatever. The player is required to explore and experience them all, unlike a branching map where you can kind of skip things. Spoken Hub are that type. Modern games, of course, include elements of all of these, but as you design a game, you begin not with the art, not with the world, but with the design of the levels. Not with the game art and the design of the levels, but with some conceptual design and some story to go with it. Makes design much easier. Considerations when your player starts, don't start them off looking at a wall. Start them off looking across some expanse like that boot camp game did, with the goal in sight, the tall tower that is going to draw them on. Immediately immerse them in the level. If you're going to use a door, face them at the door, draw them into the level. Consider flow, how the players move from beginning to end. It's critical to keep the player challenged, keep them moving towards the goal, keep them engaged. You don't want them to have hard slogs across empty terrain with nothing to do but walk. You want to keep them engaged. Avoid the hard slogs. The players may know that they're being herded along a path, but it's important to provide them with numerous paths to allow them to make some decisions that give them at least the illusion of freedom. Constrictions in the path can make the player feel confined and generate tensions. Sidetracks that are dead ends can offer areas of interest. Be sure there's some reason for entering a sidetrack, a reward, or players will stop exploring and your effort will go to waste. Trapping a player, blocking the exit in a dead end is another way to create tension and panic. But be sure the player is ultimately able to get out by solving a puzzle, promoting to another level, or dying and being respawned somewhere, but let them out, don't keep them trapped. If you're doing a 3D game, use 3D, use the third dimension. Provide different height levels with alternate routes between points on the map. If high terrain is not just there for decorations or for barriers, make it accessible so players can reach those places. This can give them a vantage point, a place within the map where they can hide, a place where they're safe from attack, or a place where they can see further, where they can see more of the map and get oriented and know where they're trying to go. A lot of this came from a book, Fundamentals of Game Design by Ernest Adams, and I encourage you to work more on this. One of the reasons, the reason I'm telling you this, apart from the information, is because as with the game mechanics, when you analyze your game that you're going to include in your manual that you provide with your final project, you're also asked to analyze the type of environmental mechanics that you've used in your game. So I'm going to end the share screen here, and I'm going to stop the recording. So I'll see you all in class. Stay safe. Stopping recording. Bye.